A few months ago, I was in a weird place mentally. Nothing dramatic. No big breakup, no job loss, nothing you'd put in a movie trailer. Just this low-level hum of loneliness that wouldn't turn off. You know that feeling where you're surrounded by people all day, but you still feel like you're watching your own life through a window? That was me. I work from home. My social life had turned into texting emojis to people I hadn't seen in months. And I realized one morning that I had gone 4 days without saying a single word out loud to another human being. So I signed up for a pottery class. 8 weeks. $120. I told myself it was an investment in my mental health. Really, I just wanted proof that I could leave my apartment for something that wasn't work or buying milk. First class, the instructor Mark said we'd be working in pairs. My partner's name was Emma. She wasn't there. Mark said she missed the first class, but would show up next week. On the drive home, I started spiraling. What if she never came? What if she was mean? What if I spent 8 weeks as the weird solo kid? By the time I got home, I had already decided to quit. I even drafted the email in my head. Dear Mark, something came up. Thanks anyway. That was the plan. Avoid the whole situation. Go back to my quiet apartment. Let my social muscles atrophy completely. Second class rolled around. I almost didn't go. I sat in my car in the parking lot for 10 minutes. My hands were sweating. My brain was screaming at me to just leave. But I had already paid, and I'm cheap. So I got out. I sat down at my wheel. The stool next to mine was empty. Then the door opened. In walked this woman, maybe a few years older than me, carrying a backpack that was leaking water like she'd just walked through a hurricane. Her hair was stuck to her face. She spotted the empty stool and walked over. I braced myself for an apology. Instead, she dropped her bag, sat down, looked right at me, and said totally calm, "You have kind eyes." I froze. I had a lump of clay in my hands. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. She didn't wait for me to respond. She just started rolling up her sleeves and said, "Sorry I missed the first class. My cat died. His name was Beans. I cried for a week. Then I forgot the second class was tonight and got caught in the rain. But I'm here now, so what are we making?" Just like that, the weirdest friendship of my life began. No filter, no apology tour. Just honesty. And that honesty made it easy for me to be honest too. I told her my clay looked like a pile of wet garbage. She laughed and said, "Good. Garbage mug first. Masterpiece later." The first few weeks we were terrible together. I would throw the clay off center. She would poke holes through the bottom. We made maybe 3 usable pieces out of 30 attempts. But somewhere in all that failure, we started talking. Real talk. She told me she had moved to the city 6 months ago after a bad breakup. She didn't know anyone. She signed up because her therapist told her to do one thing a week that scared her. I told her about my 4-day silent streak. She didn't laugh. She just nodded and said, "Yeah, it gets weird like that, doesn't it?" One night, about 5 weeks in, Emma was just staring at the wheel, not moving. I asked if she was okay. She said, "I think I've been hiding for a really long time. I thought if I stayed small enough, quiet enough, no one could hurt me. But no one could see me either. You know?" I did know. She kept going. "When I said you have kind eyes that first day, I wasn't trying to be nice. I just noticed it. And I thought, if I'm going to be bad at something with a stranger, at least it's someone who looks like they won't make fun of me for it." That was the moment everything changed for me. She was scared. She was lonely. She was bad at pottery. And she showed up anyway. The last class was 8 weeks later. We had both improved. Not massively. My mug still leaned left. Her bowl still cracked sometimes. But we had a table full of imperfect, lumpy, totally usable things. Mark gathered everyone together, said a few nice words about growth, and then everyone started leaving. Emma and I stood by our wheels. The room was getting empty. The lights were still warm and yellow. She said, "You know, I was really close to not coming that second week. I almost stayed home. But I'm glad I didn't. I told her I almost quit too." She smiled. Kind eyes. Told you. So why am I telling you this story? Because I think a lot of us are walking around, waiting for someone else to make the first move. We want connection, but we don't want to be the one who seems needy or weird. So we stay quiet. We stay small. We keep our eyes on our own spinning wheels. But here's what I learned from a woman named Emma who showed up late to Pottery class. Most people are not going to bite you. Most people are just as lonely and scared as you are. And the fastest way to stop feeling like a ghost is to say one honest thing to the person next to you. Not a perfect thing, just a real one. You have kind eyes. That's all it takes sometimes.